Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Mindshifters Radio with your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanie. Michael and Jeanie share with you the wisdom of the ancient Aramaic internal process of forgiveness. They offer tools and support 5 days a week. They will support you in building a solid foundation within yourself to live in pure love. In Aramaic, Rakhma. Michael is the author of So Why Is This Happening to Me Again? For more information on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. And now your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael and Jeanie Ryce. To the brightness within you and the truth that is rooted within me.
Hello, is Michael there? Is Jeanie there?
Okay, it was on mute, and I guess nobody heard me say that. Welcome to the show, Mindshifters Radio, with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce. Our call-in number is 646-200-4169, and we'd love to hear your comments or your questions. Press 1, that puts you in queue, and we'd love to hear from you, and welcome, Michael.
Thank you, sweetie. Doesn't she? I was sitting here with my eyes closed, listening to Jeanie make that announcement. Doesn't she have an awesome, sweet voice?
Well, we didn't hear the announcement.
Blessed. Okay, but the second one. How are you, Dr. Tim?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
I am blessed and highly favored. Hot in Boca Raton, Florida, like 90s kind of hot.
Lovely.
Yes, it is. So what's exciting in Chicago?
Well, the work. It's just a thrill to be around when people drop a bunch of baggage and quit blaming other people for the stuff they're creating. And then they have the option to choose worlds different from what they've been living. So it's fabulous, especially when somebody gets the idea that when you ask, that's what you receive. And so if you look around at what you've got in your life and you realize you don't like it, then instead of complaining, you start asking, well, how did I ask for this, and uncover that, and then ask for something different. That's happened a few times in the last couple of days for people, and I've been able to watch it, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody last night. We had a support group here in Boca Raton, and we went and supported Michael and Margaret in their support group here. And there was a fellow there who was talking about a conflict around an issue with somebody, and he said, and I don't have any upset about that. I have no anger at all about that. It's like it took about 4 rounds for him to get that our words are a reflection of the content of our minds. And when we're in denial, we are therefore out of touch with the content of our minds. Our words still come forward with the content, but we use the form of denial. Well, I don't have any of this. And, of course, I wouldn't be saying I don't have any of this unless I had some of this to talk about, and I'm in denial of it. So, we're the person who would say, yeah, well, I'm perfectly fine with that. If they were, in fact, they'd say, well, I'm perfectly fine with that. They wouldn't say, well, I don't have any anger. I don't have any pain or grief around that. So it was kind of fun to go round robin, and actually I'm not sure that even at the end that he really got it, that his words fly up, as Shakespeare said, and our thoughts remain below. And, one of the things we invite everybody to do as we create this invitation that honors Memorial Day and Veterans Day and those who've been forced especially to engage in the insanity of war, we Or maybe even it's not right to say forced. We might say invited to and didn't know any better than to say no. But to recognize the part that we play in our creatorship and what's happening, and to begin to back up and undo those things, as you say, to get in touch with what's really in there that keeps reflecting in our worlds, though we keep it hidden within ourselves. And, of course, our invitation, as usual, is to join the team that changed the world. What do we mean by change the world? Well, one of the things we want to do when you go into creatorship is see the end from the beginning. What do we want to see? A changed world, a world where human life rules, human life governs. What is human life? It is the awesome, active presence of love. Just hold a newborn child. You know what a human life is. And so our invitation is for you to live it, to live a human life, which means that all hostility and fear has to go. And in order to remove hostility and fear, which are the cause of war, you have to go inside yourself and use a removal tool. You know, it's kind of like a virus removal tool. You have to run it on the inside of the operating system. Most people have no idea how to get inside of their own operating system, so there are generations and generations and generations of viruses in there, and they have no clue they're there and no clue how to undo them. The way you can tell if there are viruses in your mind is, do you ever choose to do things a certain way and then find yourself doing the exact opposite? That's because there's a virus in your mind. There's something that needs to be forgiven. Now, many people in this culture would say, oh, but I've already forgiven them, or I've already forgiven myself. We're going to offer, please stop forgiving yourself and never forgive anybody ever again for anything. The act that's being spoken about when one says, I forgive you, is the act of pardoning. If you choose to pardon somebody, great thing to do, but it's really urgent to call pardoning what it is. Because if you call pardoning forgiveness, then you'll think when you've pardoned, you've forgiven, and you won't take the next step of doing your forgiveness work. So if you do something really crazy and I choose to let you off the hook, I would properly say, I pardon you. And then when I recognize that what you did resonated rage, fear, grief, pain, anger, sadness, hatred, vengeance, something in me, then my forgiveness work is I go inside myself and I start to remove. I run the antivirus program. I remove the hostility, the fear, the grief, the pain. So that's our forgiveness process. If you're not familiar with it, please check it out on our website. It's there. It's all free. Right-hand side of the website, there's a link that says download worksheets. The first 7 links under that section will give you the whole story of forgiveness. And be watching that link is going to move probably in the next 10 days or so. One of the things we do when we finish here, we've got 3 more events to do before we leave here on Sunday morning. And we're heading up to North Central Florida to some folks who've been doing this work for several years and are in the computer world and website design. And they've designed a whole new interface for the awesome website that Jeanie has created for whyagain.com. And there's going to be some new technology on it, some fun new stuff, and a whole new look that's going to be fresh and, very modern and updated. And the links are going to move around a little bit, and I think they'll be pretty self-explanatory. But right now, right-hand side, download worksheets, first 7 links. It'll give you the whole forgiveness story. So that is what we're here to support you in. Put the pen to the paper. I was speaking to another gentleman this morning who came to some of our workshops up in Jacksonville and almost immediately just fell in love with the work. Oh, this is awesome. I love it. This is wonderful. And then when it came to actually doing the work, putting the pen to the paper, all of a sudden the excuses start. Oh, well, I don't understand it. Okay, let's see. What don't you understand? Who's the focus of this worksheet? Charlie. Pretty simple, right? Okay, what did Charlie do? Charlie stepped on my toe. Pretty simple, okay. What's your feeling? Anger. Pretty simple, right? Now, this gets a little more complex. What's the thought you cause the feeling of anger with? Let's see. I don't know. Well, just tap in. When Charlie stepped on your toe and you went into that anger and that rage, what was it? Oh, Charlie purposely hurt me. Okay, so Charlie purposely hurt me. So now, the next step, let's get really complicated now. I choose to love truth and to be willing to let this loose, to open up inside myself and remove these generational patterns of hostility or fear. And I'm willing to go through the symptoms of healing. Really complex stuff. Okay, that's step. You've got 2 steps completed already. Third step, what did you want from Charlie? Really, really simple. Constructive result I wanted with Charlie. I wanted him to treat me lovingly, gently, and with respect. Pretty simple, okay? Step 4. What's the 4th step in the worksheet? Well, I'm going to tap into the active presence of love. I'm going to imagine holding a newborn child and really key into that love. Okay, that one's pretty straightforward. Where's it getting complex now? How difficult is this? Step 5. There's an explanation there as to how the mind works. I have a 9-bit mind. My reality is made of 9 bits. There's a whole lot more data firing inside of me. There's a whole explanation of that. And the simple fact is all you do is bring your answer from number 3 down to number 5, the goal you had for Charlie to treat you lovingly, gently, respectfully, and you cancel your need for it. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, I got it. That doesn't make any sense to the non-being mind. But there's a simple explanation, and we're not going to go through the whole explanation right now. In the book, Why Is This Happening to Me Again, in the DVDs and the CDs, and then there are 5 radio shows under that link that will tell you exactly what that whole thing means. So you can listen to any one of, in fact, I suggest that you listen to all 5 because each one is a whole different worksheet. And so there's a whole different nuance and understanding that comes with listening to each of those shows. And so learn to cancel your goal. I cancel my need for Charlie to treat me lovingly, gently, respectfully. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. So are you willing to trust that? You don't understand that part of the process yet. Can you make it okay not to understand it and just cancel the goal anyway? You don't have to believe in anything or understand anything. All you do is say, okay, I'm ready. I'm willing to let go of. I'm willing to cancel this goal. And then the next step, there's a power bigger than you are that can reach in to the depths of your genetic toes. 5B is about simply asking that power to go to work. Pretty straightforward. All right. Nothing complex here yet. So that's step 5B. And then 6, how do I feel? Well, that's pretty straightforward. I cancel my goal. How do I feel? Well, I feel kind of relieved. And about the situation with Charlie, what do you see there? Well, when I was a kid, my big brother used to really whip up on me all the time. And I see these feelings were kind of like what was going on with my big brother. And maybe Charlie really wasn't doing that purposely like my brother was. Okay, so that's an insight. Pretty simple and straightforward. Nothing complex there. Now, the next one can seem a little bit weird, but look at the goal for Charlie to treat you lovingly, gently, and with respect, and then just ask yourself the question, have you ever violated that goal toward yourself or someone else? Oh, geez, last week I went out and, I got so drunk I could hardly walk. And, I guess I wasn't very supportive of myself. And, I eat that, bread and potatoes and the white flour and chug it with ice water. Man, I guess I haven't had a whole lot of respect for myself. Maybe it's time for me to have some compassion for Charlie. Maybe this isn't all about Charlie. So now we're down to 6, the third part of step 6. Nothing complex at all, except maybe a little bit in number 5, and just trust it. Take it from there. And then step 7, there's a principle of the universe. As you give, you receive. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tap into and offer Charlie something that I feel like Charlie hasn't given me. And when I source that energy in me, I get it when I'm handing it to Charlie. So, Charlie, here's my commitment. Even when it looks to me like you're being nasty with me, I'm going to choose to treat you lovingly, gently, and with respect. There you go. You just finished a worksheet. What was complicated about it? Now, if you bring a complicated mind to the worksheet, oh, the stories the mind can make up to make it difficult and complicated and hard. And, it's like, give it up already. Every step is A, B, C, the most basic, the most simple stuff going. And as you do that process, if there is a place where your mind brings up some complication, we've got a phone number to call from 1 to 2 o'clock, 5 days a week, Eastern Time, 646-200-4169. You got a question about the part of your mind that makes the worksheet complex? Because there's no complexity in the worksheet. And as you pick up the phone and call and ask, you'll be supported. Now, the difficulty with that whole story is, well, now I don't have an excuse to stay away from it and to say I can't do it. Well, that's the idea. We've made it so simple. I've spent it's almost about 30 years now working on that worksheet process to make it as simple as ABC. And we've made it so simple. There's a great line in the course that says, so simple that it cannot but fail to be completely understood. Rejected, yes, but not ambiguous. And if you reject it now, it will be because the costs seem too high to you. And you know what the cost is of doing the forgiveness work? You got to give up your stories. You're going to have to give up your whole identity of weakness, hopeless, helpless, I can't do it. That's all just a story that keeps you in avoidance. We're going to invite you to give up the avoidance. Have you ever, Dr. Tim, in your private practice up there in Chicago, have you ever seen anybody in avoidance, doing that avoidance stuff? Probably not.
Well, I see it in my own life, so I don't really have to...
Oh, no, not you and I. Yep. Heaven forbid. And never, Jeanie.
I have enough examples in my own daily life that I don't have to bring my clients into it. But
what fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think Jeanie has a caller for us. Is that correct, Jeanie?
954.
954. You're on the air.
Hello, my heart family. This is Nene.
Hello, Nene.
Well, we've missed you. We haven't heard from you in several days, but I think we're going to see you tonight, right?
Absolutely, yes. I'm coming to Patricia's tonight. Absolutely, yes.
Is she going to be there for dinner?
Are you going to be there for dinner at Maria's?
Yes, I'm here. I'm going to be, yes, actually we're preparing some veggies and salad and all that awesome, wonderful live food that we love, and it's life.
Fabulous. Well, we're going to be there with bells on, so we're looking forward to it.
Me too. So
what's on your mind today?
Okay, yes,
How'd your support group go last night?
Huh?
How did your support group go last night?
Yes, that's what we had a meeting. Usually we meet Thursdays, but we had a special session last night because everybody had something to do today. So it was awesome because we spoke about responsibility communication due to certain issues that came out in me last week with my partner, my romantic partner.
Wait just a second. Renee, you still have issues?
Yes, I do.
Who's that laughing in the background, that laugh?
Awesome. I'm very enthusiastic because this process is, it's all proof. No matter how you twist everything and you want to make it this and that, no, the process is perfect. It's perfect. Yes. And so it was interesting because, I had a party and my partner also had a party. So I showed up at the party. He was in the party already. So I come in, and of course, previous to that, I did my work, and I, going through whatever issue came out, tried to clean it and learn and be the space of love so I can heal, and be the space for love for him so he can heal. So I go into the party, very nice, and had a wonderful time, and saw him and hugged, and how are you, and very much. And first of all, I was very happy and and very satisfied that I was able to hold a space of love for myself and for everybody in the party, because I was able to be a human being in a party where everybody is. Okay, so everybody dancing, and we had a great time. So a couple of days later, I received a call from one of the ladies who was at the party. And she says to me, well, Lynn, I'm calling you because I'm very disappointed how you're handling things. I said, what? What things? Well, I think that, you are the teacher and you shouldn't be doing these things. What things? Because I'm very surprised. I said, well, because you were in the party and you were jealous. I said, what? Yes, and you're teaching this, and I think this is not going to work for us, and perhaps the group is not going to be meeting anymore, all that. And so I invited her, okay, so let's breathe, and tell me please what happened, because I don't know what you're talking about. So we had a little process on the phone, and I said, well, what if we meet on next weekend I'll teach you again the responsibility communication, and you tell me everything in the group, because she said the group was affected. And then we'll figure it out, and we heal through that. Okay. So I went last night, and I did the presentation, and then responsibility communication. I said, well, you're going to help me because I need to know what happened. Okay? Because in my reality, I was okay. Okay, so I said, well, Nene, I have an issue inside of me, and what happened was that at one point, this guy was next to a blonde person. I didn't know whether he was there with the person together or if he met the person at the party. So at one point, these were my words. I said, I think he came in with somebody. She heard me, and she got into her fears and into her carbon-based memory. In that moment, she thought, oh, how come my teacher can't say this and my teacher is jealous, and I think this is going to be a big fight here and my party is going to be destroyed, etc., etc., etc. So as she starts doing the responsibility communication and she starts to own her feelings and her reality and her thoughts, the whole group realized that we can only see the own content of our minds. And then I said, look, suppose that I really went into the party and something really, really bad triggered, and I can't hold the space of love. You should then be the space for love for your teacher, because perhaps in that moment something was triggered from generations that I had no idea that it was there. And the carbon-based memory is automatic, and you have no choice there. So everybody was very attentive and very loving and very open. And for me, too, because I was able to go through the process in the group and say that the most important thing is to be holding the space of love, and whatever happens, that they were triggered in their own energies, that's where they have to apply the forgiveness. So it was
absolutely
awesome.
You'll remember the first time you were at the intensive. Maybe you can put your phone on mute for a second.
Yes,
getting some feedback. No. In any event, you'll remember that one of the first things we announce in the intensive is, if anybody brought a ladder for me, please turn it into, or a pedestal for me, please turn it into a ladder for your own process. That nobody belongs on a pedestal. We're all doing our work, and we're in this together. And the idea is exactly as you say, that you hold a space of love for anybody who's in any form of hostility or fear rather than judge.
I've got everybody on mute.
So anyway, we certainly hold the space, and it sounds like the the upshot or the opening was another level of learning for everybody.
And then I suggested then when an issue comes in your partner, try to talk personally and hold the space of love. And maybe, it's not about me not going to the party or not, or separating. It's about, okay, if I meet whoever, I should maintain my space of love so I can heal and create that healing space for everybody.
Now, first order of business is always to hold that space of being, to claim your human life, no matter what.
And also, it was very powerful in the step where we ask, what is your suggestion for me to help me healing? That step was very important. Because that's when, as you say in the instructions, that's when we hear a lot of information that can be very helpful, and at the same time, it gives us time just to relax and to be open and receptive to ourselves.
Exactly. Yep. I remember one particular intensive where a woman who looked pretty rough and homeless just kind of. Can you put her back on mute? There's a lot of feedback coming there. There was a woman who came to Heartland in the middle of an intensive, just drove in the driveway out of nowhere, and looked very disheveled, an old beat-up car, looked like she might have been homeless. How she found her way to Heartland, I don't know, but she did. And I sat and processed with her just for a few minutes, and I had a call to take, and so I said, just excuse me for a minute, and I'll be right back. And by the time I came back from about a 2-minute phone call, she was in her car and bolting out the driveway. And I went down to the center. There were about maybe 20 people there in the intensive. And I just had a total breakdown, just had so much grief and sadness come up at having watched what this woman was going through. And the whole group was right there holding the space and breathing me. So, there are none of us that are finished in this process, for sure.
Oh, I got to turn this on.
It was awesome.
Okay, I think you're back on.
Now,
we missed the first part of your comment, Nene.
Oh, yeah, so it was awesome. At the end, everybody, of course, we all went back into a greater connection with our own true self, loving, tender, and joyous being. And now they're inviting more people. They want to continue even more. They understood, and they understood whatever happened in each one of them, even as a group. I said because we share, as a culture, we share same energies and some same patterns. And I also emphasize that when you're in a relationship and there is vitality and there is a lot of spiritual work, things come out, and it's a great opportunity to heal. And you can always choose to continue, not continue, but do your work.
That's definitely the whole idea, so fabulous. So, Nene, we will see you in a couple of hours. We're going to be heading down to Fort Lauderdale, and Jeannie's got another caller for us.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, blessings. Bye-bye. Area code 352, you are on the air. Welcome. Who have we got? Where are you calling from?
This is Mary Lou from Heartland. We're here.
Hey there, Mary Lou at Heartland. Welcome.
Hey. So let's have the group check in. David's off running errands and doing his David work. So we're here in the eternal support and gathered to connect with you.
Fabulous. Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
So for those who are listening to the show that aren't sure what we're talking about, Mary Lou and Lenore just arrived at Heartland, where David has been holding the space along with Richard. And Joanne is there. Julie's there. I don't know if Julie's there with you guys right now, but that's the Heartland crew getting things ready for the summer season at Heartland. So who has something to share with us?
This is Mary Lou, and since I had the bright idea to put my hand up for us, I'm getting to go first. And
awesome.
Yes. So I've been working on doing some worksheets and finding that it's a whole lot easier now that I'm at Heartland just to do the little things that are coming up for me around, my daily routine and anything I want to grouse about and stuff like that. And so what I'm curious about is the work that I'm coming up with, just doing the daily work, is that going to help do the stuff that is more embedded or longer, bigger issues? I'd like to have some more information and maybe some reassurance.
Well, there's a great thought in the Course in Miracles. It says, these realities do not stand upon their own. And all those little things that look like they have nothing to do with nothing, collectively, when we get into our major issues, those things are the things that contribute to our major issue becoming a major issue. So you might find yourself deleting, 20 little seemingly meaningless little irritations or, grouchiness or what have you, and all of a sudden you walk into a situation that yesterday there'd be this big explosion, and you're kind of shocked because where's the explosion? It's not there anymore. That explosion was made of 20 of those little tiny things that seemed meaningless, but were actually all interconnected in a web of insanity that you've knocked out one little piece at a time. And so that's the idea of, to do your work around the smallest issues is one of the ways to collapse the biggest issues. And of course, also to develop the skill. You don't get up in front of the pitcher for the New York Yankees the first time you're handed a baseball bat and hit a pitch. You swing 1,000 times, 2,000, 10,000, 20,000 times. I guarantee that. Tiger Woods. I guarantee Tiger Woods is out on the golf course today hitting golf balls. And most people say, well, why does he have to do that? He's already a pro. He's already the best. Yeah, you know why he's the best? Because he hits golf balls every day. You know how you handle the big major issues in your life? You do forgiveness every day. And every time you turn around and your mind generates some form of hostility or fear, you remove what never belonged. And, of course, sometimes we hope that the geographic cure is going to make the root issues go away. And you'll notice that the root issues don't go away wherever you go. You take your whole reality structure with you, and your mind will start to fabricate whatever it needs to fabricate. And each time you collapse it, you reach another level of clarity, another level of wholeness in functioning as the awesome human being that you are. So that would be my input.
Well, that sounds reassuring. I'm on little, because I brought my whole reality here, so it's
Yeah, if we could take the geographic cure and not be there when we got there, wouldn't it be wonderful?
Oh, yes.
And, of course, one of the things about Heartland is that we've been, since February 13th of 1989. That's when we first moved into that property. And we have been working consciously, purposely, to build the energy of that space. We ask people not to bring drugs on that property, to build an energetic space And most people just walk on the property and their stuff starts to move. It starts to come up. And, I love that video that Jeannie's put on the website with the story about about Christian the Lion, who, these guys in England, if you're not familiar with the story or anybody on the show that's listening, these guys from England are at Harrods department store, and they've got a baby lion for sale, and they buy it and they take it home and they raise it until it's huge and they can't handle it anymore. They crate it up and send it off to a preserve in Africa, and the lion's been there about a year, and they contact the people who run the preserve and say, we want to come visit our lion, and these people say, well, you're crazy, you can't do that. We have this creature tagged. He's a huge male and has his own pride, and he's totally wild now. He'd tear you to pieces. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's all right. We want to come visit. So they go and visit, and the people who run the preserve have got this guy with a high-power rifle standing by because they figure they're going to have to kill this lion once, they find it. Well, they out there, calling the lion. They named the lion Christian, and, finally this lion comes kind of sauntering down the hill and then breaks into a full gallop toward them. And I can remember the first time I saw this video, it's like, man, I hope this is the right lion because this is one big dude. And it just pounces on them and plays with them and jumps up on them and wraps its paws around them and just loves on them. It's fabulous to watch. But what's even more fabulous in that video, if you watch carefully, is that the female that he's mated with, who's a totally, completely wild lioness, the huntress, comes down the hill with him, goes over to these guys and brushes against them and lets them pet her. Now, I'm sure that Christian the lion didn't have a talk with his wife up the hill and say, by the way, these humans are my friends and you don't eat them. But Christian was such a powerful space of love in relationship to these two guys that just the energy of his presence, this would be my explanation of it, the energy of his presence in that space transformed the huntress into a docile kitten that they were able to play with and interact with. Totally changed the programmed, I wouldn't say the natural behavior, but the programmed behavior of this female lion. And that's the power of a space. And so what we've worked on and what we ask everybody who comes to Heartland to do is to assist and support in building that space. And there is a permanent energy field there that touches people on the deepest levels. And when you get into the field of people, just as this female lion's behavior changed by coming down the hill with her mate, so your energy changes when you're in a space of people who are about doing their work together. It opens a whole other level of possibility. And it's going to be fun to watch how, as each person arrives, the space will rearrange itself, and there'll be a new depth and a new height and a new depth and a new height. And everybody you've never dealt with in your life, you're going to get to meet while you're there. And those people are going to have realities come up, and you're going to get the opportunity to be the active space of love to dissolve the realities that are unlike love for yourself and for everybody else. So you know, if there are 20 people in the space and everybody's going nuts, and we've had intensives where, we work on stirring things and everybody just goes ballistic, and one person who holds the space is all that's needed, and it is that active space of love that dissolves what comes out of hiding in the mind. The trick is to get it out of hiding. That's the real challenge.
I would agree.
So I appreciate your willingness.
Yeah, well, here we are. And we're having the opportunity of organizing ourselves and doing food and inventories and cleaning and that sort of stuff. So there is some stuff coming up with that. But we've also accomplished some work projects. Rich, you want to say some of the projects that you've been doing?
Well, right now.
Hey, Richard, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm awesome. I'm blessed and highly favored. We had a fabulous support group again last night. We've got another one tonight in Fort Lauderdale. Mary Lou, you'll remember Patricia. She started the group last week or 2 weeks ago now. So we're going to be down doing that tonight in Fort Lauderdale. And then in Lake Worth, we've got a Why Is This Happening to Me Again workshop Friday night, a free open workshop. And Saturday, we're doing mind shifters and still point breathing. So we've got lots going on. And we'll be getting on the road, and then we'll have a week space in there to be doing work on the website. And then we'll be up in Wilmington, North Carolina for 3 days. We'll be heading to, what's that, Jeanie?
Bristol.
Yeah, and then we'll be heading to Bristol, Tennessee, and to Virginia for a family reunion. Birmingham, Alabama, if anybody's in Birmingham, we'll be at Unity of Birmingham. Actually, we'll be there through the first 3 days of the 10-day Food, Fun, Forgiveness, and Work project. And we'll be finishing our Mind Shifters and Still Point Breathing workshop that on Saturday, and then we'll be hightailing it out. We'll probably get in late Saturday night and be there for Sunday's program. So we're on it. We've got lots happening, and it's awesome the way it's coming together.
How does it feel for you to have a full house now? Just by yourself or what?
So Jeannie's just asking the question, Richard, how does it feel to have a full house there now, or a house that's filling up?
It's great. It was getting a little bit boring. It's not now.
The boredom is gone, eh? You have 3 women show up and the boredom is gone. There you go.
We're right now we're working at the art center, and we're getting 2 of the buildings opened up and freshened up, and that's pretty much it. We got
cool.
A full plate here.
Cool. You're opening Love and Peace?
Yes.
Cool. Well, maybe, I haven't talked with David about it, but there's a good chance for the 9-day Why workshop, we're going to need to open happiness as well. So if you want to mention that to David, if I don't think of it when I talk to him, we'll have to be looking at that. I think there was some plumbing work that was in process there. If you could have a look at it and see what's happening in happiness. The building is down over the hill. Yeah,
we were just talking about that. He mentioned to me a night or 2 ago that we might have to do that. As a matter of fact, I was going to go down there this afternoon and take a look at the plumbing situation. And,
fabulous. Very cool. Well, did you get to speak with Ari about the stove setup and the heights and all of that? That's all taken care of?
We set a pretty much a standard height, and so we're getting that. It's going to put the new jets in the stove top for propane gas, and we've got the height just about figured out. We know where we're going to put it. And
great.
We do need to come up with a hood for it, but that shouldn't be a problem.
Good, cool. Yeah, probably we want to get those jets in sooner rather than later and hooked up just to make sure there aren't any problems with them. So very good. So do you have anything in particular in the way of process work to share with us, or any questions, thoughts, anything in particular that's happening for you?
Yeah, it's a lot of little things. I know I was talking to my wife the other day, and she asked me if I had any really big aha moments, and there really aren't any huge earth-shattering moments. It's just a lot of times, in the quiet when I'm doing worksheets or I've been reading and I'm reflecting, processing something. I'll just really, it'll be a small realization. I say, oh yeah. Yeah, okay. And it might have been something that, that I didn't understand from a long time ago. and but it's those little things I've found that make things easier. I found that my days have gotten steadier, and I don't look at everything like it's a chore. Days are a lot easier, and that's how it's going for me.
So it sounds like all.
What you say?
Pardon?
I lost you there for a second, Richard. Pardon me.
Okay.
I pushed the wrong button on my phone. So is there any way we can support you? Anything you need any support with?
I don't. Just hold the space for me.
You got it. All right, you got it for sure. We appreciate you a lot. I know you've gotten a lot accomplished while you're there, so that's really awesome. And how about Lenore? How is Lenore doing, being at Heartland?
I'm happy to be here, and I'm processing a lot of little things, definitely as they come up, and working on my code challenge sheet, and that was very interesting and right on. And
it's interesting how that evaluation pegs where the work is, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a great tool.
It is.
And for those who don't know, go ahead.
And of course, I'm very grateful. Mary Lou drove me up here, and there is like a different shift, with our relationship, because before it was employer-employee, and so now it's a little different. And I'm sure stuff is coming up for her as well as me. And so I'm looking forward to the rest of my days here.
Cool. Well, any particular questions or anything we can support you with at this point?
No, not
no?
At this moment. No.
Okay. Well, we just hold the space. And how about Lenore? Do you have anything to share? Or pardon me, Lenore. Mary Lou. No, not Mary. Joanne. I got a voice in the background here. So, Joanne, how's your niece doing? How are you doing?
She is progressing. And can you hear me okay?
Good.
Great.
Yes, yep, you're loud and clear.
Good. So anyway, we're happy about that. And her son graduated from high school, and of course she couldn't be there, so that probably was a bit of a whatever it might be from the position that she's in, and for him and for her as well. So anyway, but all well because his grandmother, his grandparents, and a whole bunch of other people, just not his mother, at his graduation. But anyway, all is well there. And for me here, I'm just busy working on changing my personal code. And so what I find is that with mind shifters, that on their personal code, the correlation with doing the worksheet. So interesting little things pop up or out, whichever the case may be, from doing the mind shifter. So, and I think that's really great because easily, if the time permitted, you could do more than 5 worksheets a day, just based on what comes out of a mind shifter.
Yes, easily.
What did you just say?
I say very easily, yes.
Yes, it does. But, I was listening to you earlier when you were talking about the worksheets and going through them. Thank you for that. And it's interesting because, of course, you were saying how it's simple, and a dissertation for the
the one who did the dissertation is always simple. But for those who are reading it, it probably is not quite as simple. And what I want to know is I can read those numbers and respond to them, but I'm sure there's some correlation, and I'd like you to talk about that a little bit. For example, if I look at 1A and B, how is the correlation, or is there maybe, is a better question, with number 11? Would you speak to that?
Okay, well, when you're looking at, you look at an issue. So I have an issue, and it's around another person, let's say, and I have a goal for them. They're not satisfying my goal. So when I load that goal in my mind, it brings up a part of me that holds some form of hostility or fear. And out of that hostility or fear, I have some negative feeling toward them. So the idea of the whole forgiveness process is to get to the point where instead of living out of a negative feeling towards someone or something, I live as a human being. I live as the active presence of love. So by the time you get down to step number 11 on the worksheet, having let go of and cleaned up some of the hostility or fear, I'm now back to a connected state of love toward number 1A. So now I'm going to go back and look at that situation, and in that very situation where I think I need to have something from them, am I willing to provide whatever that something is? Is the power in me to provide that? You know, the example that I use on the video and that I usually use in the workshop is a woman who had a problem with her boss, and the boss picks on her, and she's angry and afraid, and her goal is for him to treat her lovingly, gently, and with respect, to be supportive with her. And so we ask her to cancel her goal for the boss to be supportive. And then she gets down to it at step, depending which worksheet you're doing, at step 5, where you cancel the goal in the new 7-step worksheet, then she all of a sudden had the insight that her relationship with her boss was the same as her relationship with her father had been. And when she got down to the last step of resetting a goal toward her boss, instead she was setting a goal toward both her boss and her father. But the goal was for herself in regard to her boss and her father. So she uncovered out of number 1 that the issue seems to be with the boss. In number 5, she gets in touch with, this is really about my painful realities around my relationship with my father. And then in the final step where she resets the goal, a loving goal, her goal is, and her insight, you know, she's looking now with different eyes at her boss and her father rather than they're this, they're that, and, you know, she's angry and she's afraid and she's going to, you know, get the heck out of Dodge. She all of a sudden can see in her boss and her father a weakness, and that was a difficulty or an inability to love. So her goal in the final step, what is she going to offer to number 1A? And she not only offered it to number 1A, who was the boss, but to her father. Her goal was, I want to be empowered. She's asking to be empowered to create a space of love and support for the healing of this issue that her boss and her father have. So at the beginning of the worksheet, she's all upset with her boss because of what he won't give her. And in the last step, 7 in the 7-step worksheet, 11 in the 11th step, she's giving him something. And she realizes that the abundance and the power to offer that are inside of her rather than something that has to come from the outside. As long as we think something has to come from the outside, we cut ourselves off from the empowerment to bring it through from the inside. And once you clear out or get rid of, once you forgive the reality that blocks that, then all of a sudden you get to see that the power is inside of you. And, you know, and I do that last step in the workshop. I always love to refer back to one of my favorite thoughts from A Course in Miracles, which says, only what you have not given is missing here. And what the non-being mind will do is it will accuse everybody else of not bringing to the party what was needed. And the truth is, if I don't have it, It's me that's not bringing it to the party, and I need to change what's going on inside of me. Does that fit with your question?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Awesome. Very cool. Well, Jeannie's telling us, unless somebody has another question or comment there, Jeannie's telling me that we have a couple more callers online. So does anybody at Heartland have anything else for us?
No.
Okay, well, we appreciate you. We'll look forward to seeing you in just a few weeks. Blessings. Jeannie, who we got? Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Area code 561, you're on the air. Welcome to the show. Give us a name. Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Margaret in Boca Raton, Florida.
Well, hey there, young lady. We haven't seen you in, 12 hours.
Right. I wanted to call in today and say thank you so much to Jeanie and to you for the great support that you've both given us in South Florida this year. And so we're grateful for the time that, you've been here and helped us. And thank you for supporting our group last night by coming and speaking. And it was just wonderful.
Well, we say thank you for saying thank you. And we're honored and delighted and privileged to have you guys on our team. It's nice to have some playtime with you guys, and having dinner last night was really sweet with your friends as well. And it seemed like they really, I didn't get a chance to speak with them at the end, but it seemed like they were really just right there with it, especially the gentleman that he just really was listening and with it and got it. And so it'll be fun to see what they do with it.
Absolutely. In fact, the wife already emailed me this morning, and they are thinking of joining Lois's group, and because it's going to be close for them. Yeah.
Right. Very cool. Well, it was also a lot of fun. I don't know if you knew who that gentleman was that came in right at the end, but it was really cool for those who weren't there, of course, last night. We were doing at Dr. George Love's office, and he's in a neighborhood in Boca Raton. And there was a woman who was walking by, a neighbor who was walking by, walking her dog. And she came to the door to see what was happening. And, of course, we invited her in, and she stayed for about an hour and a half with this brand-new puppy. The puppy was about 6 weeks old. The puppy just got right into the space, put its head down, went to sleep, and was just so content. And so she was there and was just very excited about it. And it was kind of interesting because about, probably 10 or 15 minutes before we finished, we ran a little late. She's like, well, I need to be going now. And so off she went. And Margaret, I don't know if you know the gentleman that came in just a few minutes after she left. That was her husband.
Oh, that's wonderful. I saw him come in but had no idea. How nice.
Well, she went home and said, honey, you got to go over and see what they're doing over there. This is awesome. So she sent her husband over, and Jeanie worked with him, and he just had all kinds of questions. He's like, I'm doing this. So you're going to see more of them, I'm sure.
That is so wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool because a lot of cases, one person in a partnership gets interested in doing their work, and the other's like, man, I don't want to look at that. But her husband was just like right over there, Johnny on the spot, and ready to go. My goodness, we're down to 90 seconds already. Time flies when you're having fun. So I think there's another caller on hold. Oh, okay. And so if you call in tomorrow, you'll be the first one on the show. And Margaret and Michael, we love you guys and appreciate you guys a lot and what you're doing with people. You're both holding an awesome space and doing some great work with folks. And so we'll look forward to seeing you guys at Heartland this summer, and we hold the space. And everybody, bring a stranger to the show tomorrow and have the best year yet of your eternal life. We appreciate you. We'll see you in Lake Worth Friday night. Tonight we'll be in Fort Lauderdale doing the support group there. Check the website for times and dates. Blessings. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Mind Shifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife Jeanie, who present the internal Aramaic process of forgiveness. Michael and Jeanie are here every Monday through Friday on Earth Angels Radio. For more on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. That's www.whyagain.com.